What are they? Let's refresh our memory. First, technology and AI. Second, economic pressure. Third, climate transition. Fourth, demographic shifts. And finally, geoeconomic fragmentations. In fact, some of the groups actually touch on demographic shifts and geoeconomic fragmentation in their presentation. This shows us that these are indeed important forces that will influence your future career path. In our video lecture today, our focus is to examine each force to help you understand the degree or the extent of its impact. Before we start, here are some warm-up questions for your considerations. Number one, which job do you think is safest in the next 10 years? Why? Which skill do you personally need to improve most? This includes hard skills and soft skills. And finally, is AI more likely to replace or assist you? The third question is a billion-dollar question. Okay. The way you work with AI determines your future. Now we have an overall picture of the future world. Let's examine these forces respectively. Technology is obviously the dominant driver. Here is the statistic point for us to learn. 60% of employers expect digital expansion to transform business. In other words, most of the employers will definitely invest in technology to expedite the efficiency or enhance the productivity of their production line. And AI and information processing is definitely the most transformative technology in the workplace. And as you can see, only 58% in robots and autonomous systems and 41% in energy technology. Generative AI, since its existence in 2022, the employers in the workplace has invested 8 times more in their training. What can AI do for us? It can enhance our productivity. We're able to achieve more within the same time constraint. And this also expand expert tasks. For experts, they are able to multitask so that they can achieve multiple projects at the same time. And AI also support our decision making. I'm sure you definitely have some experience of asking AI different questions. When we ask questions, we're actually asking for suggestions to help us make and informed decisions. On the other hand, AI definitely have risks. If we use AI to replace rather than augment, then we might have what we call an inequality risk. Augment means to make the process or the results better. Ideally, AI is supposed to help us enhance the quality of our final product. It is not supposed to replace human beings entirely. If that's the case, okay, you will put all the human labors on an unequal footing. Okay, so we must bear in mind that we use AI to augment, not to replace. And even though technology has been advancing in the recent 5 years, the development has been uneven. Okay. Technology impact is not equal. What are some of the leading sectors? IT sectors, of course, and advanced economies in the world, such as United States, China, Germany, and so on. They have been advancing their AI adoption. Then who are lagging? construction sector hasn't been using robots to construct buildings. We might see that in the future, but not yet. And for low-income economies, their focus is still on survival. AI adoption is not their priority. Okay? And fragile stability. This leads us to the second driver, economic uncertainty. According to global economic indicators, in 2025, we witnessed 3.2% growth. We see persistent inflation easing, but we also see persistent service inflation. What does service inflation refers to? It refers to the bills we need to pay, our telephone bills, internet bills, and even our mortgage. Okay, so employees worry about their cost of living. In fact, 50% of them worry about this, and 42% uh, is worried that the economic growth has been slower than before. The same economic growth has been uneven around the world. If we take sub-Saharan Africa as an example, inflation is definitely concerning. If you have the chance to visit this region, the currency is pretty high and unstable. If you get their bills, okay, the number on each bill is quite big. And if we look at East Asia, recently the growth in economy has been slowed down, and this concerns people there. And what is the takeaway here? Economic pressure shapes skills demand. Okay. Before we learn a skill, you must check if it is needed. Okay. And in the future of constant change, resilience and adaptability are definitely critical. Okay. The ability to come back from failure and the ability to um, get used to different changes. These are the two strategies, or I should say, skills you should equip yourself with to survive. Third, geoeconomic fragmentation. In layman's term, geoeconomic fragmentation is conflicts between two countries or among more than two countries. War. Okay. And this in between 2022 and 2024, trade restrictions doubled. This has to do with the American government imposing tariffs on different countries. Okay. And employers expect changes because of wars, okay, geopolitical conflict, trade restrictions, okay, tariffs imposed by the American government, and industrial policy. For each industry, they might come up with or change their policy based on external factors, and war and tariffs are definitely in play here. Later, we will talk about green transition. Environmental issues definitely impact the decision making of every line of industry. Okay, then in this case, which industry is the most vulnerable? Okay, mining and oil and gas are definitely the most vulnerable. One major cause of conflict is definitely natural resources. Okay, whoever have the most natural resources have the power. That's why countries have wars. Then, which industries are less vulnerable? Education and hospitality are less vulnerable. All right, now we come to the fourth driver, which is green transition. Okay, we are constantly under the influence of climate change. For example, global warming, okay, rising sea level is has been threatening, okay, island nations, okay? And here are two statistics for your reference. 47% of employers prioritize carbon reductions, okay, efforts, and 41%, okay, 41% of employers focus on climate adaptation strategies. In other words, the employers in the workplace has been paying particular attention to climate transformation. They make changes so that they can make efforts to protect the environment. Under this kind of circumstance, okay, the demand outpaces supply, and this implies that mass reskilling is needed to close the green skills gap. Let me unpack. What does it mean? Ultimately, some of the jobs will be gone because they have been harming the environment, which means a group of workers have to learn a new set of skills to survive. Okay, and this also is related to demographic shifts. Okay, nowadays, one of the main reason people stop giving birth has to do with environmental issues, right? And when we look at demographic shifts, our focus is on population, the makeup of a society. For high income economies, okay, they face the issue of aging population. When they have more elderly people in the society, they will have less workforce. That's why the workforce has been shrinking. We do not have enough human power for the job market. On the other hand, for lower income economies, okay, they definitely give more birth, okay, and this allows them to have demographic dividend potentials. Okay, they will they will experience a shift in the makeup of their population. Okay, sometimes they might have more older people and face similar issues with as high income economies, but at other times, uh, they might have too much human labor. That can also be a problem. Okay, and this also is related to employment risk. Okay, in the next 10 years, 1.2 billion youth will enter the workforce, but only 420 million jobs projected. This shows an imbalance between supply and demand. Okay, we have not enough jobs for people. Okay, so aging economies will be something we need to consider. Okay, for aging society, they might rely on automations because they don't have enough workforce. And if they don't have enough workforce, this also means that they don't have enough people to take care of the elderly, right? That's why redeployment will be a trend. Okay, people in their retirement might consider being returning to the workplace. And for growing economies, they will have heavy reskilling focus. Okay. People will definitely need to learn a new set of skills to survive. Okay. After, excuse me, after reviewing these drivers, let's connect the dots. Okay. How do these forces interact? Okay. AI and aging, as I mentioned before, aging society will resort to automation. Okay. Because they do not have enough human power. Okay. And green transitions affects industrial policy. Okay, certain group of workers might lose their jobs because the previous responsibility might be have been damaging to the environment. So they have to learn a new set of skill. reskill at scale becomes a national priority. And finally, trade fragmentation and technology. Just take our country, Taiwan, as an example. We have been working hand in hand with the American government. The American government wants us to establish factories for the production of chips in the States, okay, so that they can uh, develop their semiconductor business at a lower cost. Okay, so regional inequality can also be a problem. Not every country is so powerful that can bring other countries to negotiate deals with them. That's why we see two opposite ends in the development of technology. Okay, here are three questions I would like you to consider with your group members. Okay, which drivers affects Taiwan most? And second, which Taiwanese industries are most vulnerable? And finally, which skills should university students prioritize? Please talk about these questions with your group members. I will give you more details about how the group discussion should be done in my announcement. Okay, and here are some reflection questions for you to consider. Which macro trend will define your career most? And when it comes to university curriculum, how should university redesign curriculum for a constantly changing future? And third, will AI increase or decrease inequality? And finally, future-proof communication. Okay, I will tell you what it means. A future-proof communication is a dialogue you should have with yourself to check if your skill set is in line with what the job market need. If it doesn't meet the need, then you should probably start upskilling or even reskilling. Okay, that's what a future-proof communication is. And the final takeaway, the future of work is not about one single disruption. It is about multiple interacting macro forces. Okay, we talk about five. And adaptation is crucial. Okay, reskilling and upskilling. Strategic workforce planning. You must be aware of the drivers to help you make strategic and informed decisions. Okay. And under the constant changing environment, human-centered competency actually become more important. Your soft skills actually matter more. We have touched on the issue of care economy already. This will be brought up in our future lectures. All right. So just remember to think about this. Are you preparing for transformation or are you reacting to it? Okay, that's it for my lecture on the five drivers that shape the future workplace. Thank you, and don't forget to discuss the three questions with your group member. See you.